Welcome to Out of the Blank.
Are you
Welcome.
ready?
I'm now ready. Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. The 1,000 doesn't just go away, so it's we're just continuing on past that. I want to make sure that's clear because that's been up in my head for like trying. First of all, I was debating even doing coming back to the show. Like I said, with all that time off, I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. It's kind of like if you don't do it anymore and you leave it away for a while, it's kind of lose interest in it and move on to the next thing. So I became a filmmaker.
Yeah, and I've been watching your films actually, and I think they're hilarious. That milk one, that one literally had me laughing.
You
Like, I was,
changed your tune after you saw my idea for the film and I put it up and then you messaged me, got any more scenes? Got another film you're working on? And I'm like,
yeah,
all right,
I
man.
wasn't exactly sure what you were doing. I thought it was gonna be more about you, and there was just gonna be a couple blips of other people in it. But then, like when I saw like the actual idea of it, when you were like, yeah, it's a movie about a movie, and you don't even actually see the movie, just little blips, and I liked it. That's why I
Just
said I was like, it was genius.
just trying to do creative stuff with like all
Hmm.
that time off. I always have to be doing something because then I feel like I'm doing nothing. So maybe my next task should be to bring back the fedora. Maybe. Huh?
Maybe I own
Possibly.
one. I'm waiting for that.
Is there any stylers or trends that you think will be making a comeback? I mean, we're already in the land of NFTs, which I'm a little bit worried about. Um,
Ska. Should we
really,
bring ska back?
really don't see enough Sublime T-shirts as it is.
No, I mean just the music.
I guess. I mean,
Like,
I think we've taken a whole new thing where the opening of technology has really just sent us into this land of X. I mean, I've been creating art by using AI, just machines. They're like type in a quote, pick the artist, pick whatever style you wanted, and it'll do it. And I'm like, all right, what's some random stuff I can type in? So I go koi pond with a glass tank. It was just the description I put into it. Dude, the AI machine made what looks like a koi pond with like it's so freaky I can't even describe it. And I'm like,
I might have to play with that.
that's the future of art. Is something what's art? Art is that you paint something on whatever you do, you create, and someone's able to pull out whatever they want from it. But imagine letting a machine create the art for you and not being able to put it literally into words because you don't know what the hell you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, there is AI art, but I feel like that might just be another expression of art. I feel like people are still gonna make their own art and stuff.
Well, I don't think the initial creator is going to be gone, but let's just say it's going to take maybe a new form. Um, when it
There's gonna be
comes,
more people using his tool of art to create their own art,
I'm going to send this to my email and see if I can pull it up. Well, I mean,
which is
the land of NFTs, I don't think anybody saw that coming. And I think jokingly, we all kind of looked at it like, oh, yeah, that's going to be the next form of art. Yeah. I mean, well, not the next form of currency, I would say. But then you're seeing things like, I mean, besides the whole Bitcoin crash and stuff like that. And I'm still so novice on everything when it comes to just art in general. When it's, I mean, I painted a couple paintings, that was it. But watching the currency change go from cash to ones and zeros to now we might be entering a land where you're going to be able to just trade things that don't really exist, but you have a digital copy of that, which makes it interesting for actual creators. But every single actual artist who paints and actually does the whole, like my buddy Adam, who spends hours upon hours, making days sometimes, making art customized for people. A
right.
lot of my artwork comes from him. He talks about it like you got to buy the original copy, the stuff like this. This is all like BS. And I'm like, I don't know how to help you there, man. That's we're entering that territory. People really love the delicacy and ease of using technology to be able to do everything for them.
Yeah, I just don't understand how it, like, I guess like the actual like code for the photo you would get, but like if you have this super cool piece like picture and someone else just screenshots it, like That's it. But then again, there's prints of physical art all the time too.
Well,
So
do
I
you
don't know.
maybe it's just the trend of that we all move to digital and then eventually people like I don't see, I don't know, because then like before we talk about the electric car, for instance. Man, when that electric car thing started coming out, I'm like, yeah, right. People are going to be using electric cars. BS. Dude, it's a big possibility now where it looks like maybe you have to be super rich or some type of collector to really have a classic actual physical car. I'm
Yeah, the
gonna
prices of classic cars have skyrocketed.
I'm gonna show you. This is the koi fish glass thing I was telling you about. All I did was type in koi fish glass or koi fish pond glass tank, and then that's what it gave me.
Interesting.
That's
So you
an
could, yeah.
AI machine. I can't describe that into words. It looks like you go to a panda buffet and they have that fucking koi pond that every kid has to stick their fucking finger in and try and touch one of the fish. And then the fish bites them or nibbles on their finger thinking it's food. And they go, oh my God. And they have to put the fish down.
I wonder what the turnover rate for the koi fish in the Chinese restaurants are.
Hmm.
From kids like accidentally hurting them or them attacking customers.
How many California rolls did you want again? I wanted 22. Okay, get 3 koi fish out of that pond for me. It's like, no, no. I didn't know that's what you were doing.
Oh no, I don't even think they eat them. I'm just saying how many koi fish you think have gone rogue and bit customers and they had to put them down.
Any animal, anything in the world, someone has tried it.
You're right.
Just keep that in
Ugh,
mind. Think at
koi
one point
fish.
we all used to be cannibals.
Yeah, it's all everything that we eat now is based on a bunch of trial and error.
You know, there's some people that still practice cannibalism. Like, y'all are just pretentious as shit. Have you ever been in the middle of a storm or a hurricane and had no food? And then one of your friends or one of your survivors that are with you. I mean, if there's a zombie apocalypse, everybody would go back to cannibalism.
Well, the zombies would.
No, I mean, that's their whole thing. What would they
Yeah,
do
that's
without it?
yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. Yeah, it's actually interesting that cannibalism still happened. Wasn't it? Who was it? It was some prominent guy. I think it was Prince Andrew or Prince Charles. Paid to watch someone get eaten by some tribal people like in Africa.
Fucking Army Hammer was going to pay his ex girlfriend to eat her lower ribs. And that was like a giant whatever news thing for like a month, and then people moved on to the next thing, and I'm like, dude, you could fucking get away with fucking anything. I mean, the
I
fact that
didn't. I missed that one.
Ghislaine Maxwell, her trial ended. She was what, 5 accounts out of 6 that she was. You think
Yep.
people are going to be like, see, this is my thought when that happened. I just picture like the people that are going to be like, the inner workings, conspiracy, all that type of stuff. Go, you think people would notice if we, she hung herself like her predecessor or
I mean,
her
do you
friend?
think? Do you think we can get away with this again?
The guards are like, no, fuck you. Don't do it again. They gave us a lot of shit. People asked where we were. I was out on my smoke break and all this type of weird computer stuff started happening.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, man. We got away with that once. Let's not try that again, huh?
They do a
What's
bunch of
new?
stuff like that all the time. Doesn't matter. We're going to do it
Yeah,
again. People
there
forget.
was.
People move on to the next thing so freaking quick. That's what
Oh
scares
yeah,
me.
that's what sucks too because like there's so much implicated like little rabbit holes that dive down on the Ghislaine Maxwell thing, and it ain't gonna happen. She was the fall guy. That's it. There was only I only saw in the news one Republican, I forget who it was saying we need to like chase down every rabbit hole. We need to overturn every single rock based on this case. Like there was so many people implicated, but ain't gonna happen. They already dismissed cases against the two jail guards for Jeffrey Epstein, who lied in their reports and stuff.
I
And
hope
said,
they have like a new job out there now where it's just one person who's government like owned or whoever, or maybe a personal person like PETA. PETA has a good idea behind them, but they
but they're
don't.
so shitty.
Dude, Jimmy Seafood lit them the fuck
Did
up,
you see
man.
that? I shared that whole thing on
And that's like a
Facebook.
Baltimore like seafood place. Like that's a well-known
Oh, so that
place.
actually hits close to home for you.
So
That's
it's like
really funny.
watching them just light up. I'm like, well, they must have hired somebody from like Wendy's or Taco Bell. But now, like, I'm just messaging everybody on Twitter or tagging them in posts like, hey, is Quiznos, do you have fire tweets? They responded to me one time when I was like, Quiznos, where did you go? I miss you because I hate Subway so much. And they're like, we're still keeping it toasty. I'm like, is everybody who runs your guys' Twitters like master jokes craftsmen that I'm afraid to mess with?
Yeah, it's a part of the marketing thing now, man. The whole marketing scene is moving into stuff like that. That's what I'm going to school for right now, and they talk about how like social media and all that stuff, that's where everyone is. So that's where you got to be. You got to make those, they got to make those little tweets that hopefully they get screenshot and then get shared, because then it's just an exponential amount of advertisement for absolutely free.
I've been so out of the political realm after this show, like just after I hit 1,000. Because I don't, I'll use Twitter till like recently I've been going back on it just to look for guests again. But like I have no need to hit the trending topics to see maybe there's something interesting that happened. No need for it at all. And like what I was gone a month, you know.
It
Um,
has been a month, hasn't it?
I should
And it ripped
probably
you right back in.
I should probably make a public apology. I'm very sorry for leaving you. I'll try not to do it again.
You
Um,
got to make a video though.
like Patton Oswalt writing a fucking essay for hanging out with Dave Chappelle. Sorry, I was gone. I'm back.
You should make it all like get in a suit, make it all professional, like it's a press conference.
The amount of messages I got, like, "Oh my god, what do you mean the show's over with?" And I'm like, "I'm fucking taking a what the fuck? You got 1,000? Like, telling me you ripped? No, here's what you need to help me with. The should I do another everyday thing for another, or should I just like weekends off? Is that okay?"
Yeah, maybe do once a week.
Jesus Christ, I don't want to lose all my hair. I'd rather just
That's what I'm saying. Do one a week, and then you'll have plenty of time to work on your film stuff too, and then you can correlate the two and use each other to bounce off each other when you're trying to get your name out there.
I definitely miss the banter like this, but at the same time, there's also other tasking processes that go with it, and that has to be with getting guests. Always getting guests is just
Right.
difficult as shit. Um, but
So do
it
once a week.
but it's easier now. See, here's the issue I have with that is when people like go, "Where can I find your show to see if I want to be a guest on it?" I just go, "Yeah, you can check the links in my bio." As soon as they click it, I get a message. I mean, not even like you can't listen to anything that fast, not even a song. They just go 1,000 something episodes. Oh my God, yeah, man. I'm like, well, that's good. Like you see the fucking work ethic, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like there are some people like where, when, how, who, and I'm like, are what? What are we going through the five W's? What are we doing?
Right. That's kind of, I think I did that the first time you asked me to come on.
Yeah, it's I understand it because it's hard because it's new, but at the same time, I don't know. I like to always kind of keep it changing up just so I'm not doing the same thing over and over and over again. Because eventually you'll just fucking find yourself Epsteined in your room because you just hate your fucking life, you know?
Yep. Actually, that's funny that you say that, because I was actually going to bring something like that up when we are talking about the new AI art. Because I was going to say, yeah, I mean, it might be a good thing because it's going to give everyone that little bit of creative fix. I feel like a lot of people are just dead in the world because they're just in the motions, not doing anything, and they don't have the time to do like anything creative, and they're just slowly dying on the inside. They don't have a soul, asking no sense of wonder, no questions of like about just
It's the music.
existentialism, and just
It's
it's
the
the
music,
music.
dude. I'm telling you, I
But I,
was
what I'm I guess what I'm saying is that I think people are going if they make art easier, more people are gonna do it, and I think it'll just be good for people's mental health. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Um, I said I still think that it's a lot of what we listen to too. Like a really popular artist that I listen to, and actually to make a lot of very scenes and a lot of serious moments and a lot of the stuff that I've been making. I was listening to a lot of Juice World while I was just working out, or like if I'm doing like a 5 hour workout, I'm listening to Juice World just on repeat, or I'm listening to other songs that keep suggesting all these things. Dude, you get stuck in a vibe, man, and that vibe is a little bit dark, and it just seems like what would matter if you're gone? I mean, I hate to bring it to that level, but that's kind of what a lot of the tone of music is. I mean, it was the same thing back in what, the 90s? Well, everything was
Yeah,
teenage angst shit, man. Like
mid 2000s too. It
everything
was
was like,
all
I
the emo
had a
music.
van and she left me, and I'm sitting in the window last night. Whatever that fucking song is. But that's every
Yeah,
single one of those things are exactly the same. And then you wonder why, like, so many of those people were all punk and all these angst. And there's all these people, like, I remember the 90s when it was great. It was like they weren't fucking great either. No time that you remember is usually 100% good. You're just picking the good stuff out of it, which makes it, this is not weird. I mean, I just popped on Twitter before we started chatting because I was like, fucking Corey's gonna bring me into the politics. I was like, I don't want
It's
to go.
Sunday morning.
I stopped letting it affect me like as bad as it was. Like after this whole break, everything is just a fucking joke to where they just put up a new thing saying that there's a new variant now. It's a mix of the Delta and the Omicron, and they're calling Deltacron. And I just
Oh,
retweeted it.
Jesus.
And I was just like, it's like Sharknado. The first one I was interested. Now I've lost all fucking interest in every single one that
Yeah,
they
dude.
create.
I just saw one of those same exact things we're actually going to talk about on our show on Thursday from my local news channel. And it said, I'm going to actually find the actual headline, but it's from our local Fox News channel. And it says, Israel detects case of flu Rona in unvaccinated pregnant woman. Like, how fucking scary does that article sound? And then when you go to read the actual article, because the headline's so misleading, she had the flu and COVID at the same time.
How do you know?
I don't know. She just got tested for
Like, how
both,
do
I
you
guess.
fucking
But
know what variant you have?
right, but like it's hilarious to me that they called it flu Rona because you read that and you're like, oh my god, now is the flu and the Omicron teaming up? Like, like what the fuck's going on? And then you read it and it's like, you dumb bitches. God, it makes me so angry. So when I saw that headline, we were like, well, we got to put a segment in the show called when sensationalized something about sensationalized headlines. We need to think of a tagline.
I think when I took the break, there was, I think after like a week or so when the show hit 1,000, there was Mark Zuckerberg came out and said that his fact checkers weren't actually like fact checkers. They were just people that agreed with the same narrative. And I was like, well,
Yeah,
if he's admitting to doing it, does that mean that like we should start looking at all these types of things? And then I see an article that was literally like Robert Malone on Joe Rogan, the guy who claims to be the mRNA vaccine person, whatever. Dude, they should have said, after a controversial podcast episode, we'd like to clear the air and talk about the reason why this man was taken off Twitter was because of, and it just sounded like, what? Like I've seen
no,
people tweet way worse than that. What do you mean that's medical? That's
yeah, but
misinformation. You start to realize it's like they're just looking for any reason at this point to get there, which I mean, that makes it more stressful on the creators where like the dude Malone goes, I'm on an app called Gitter. Does anybody remember who was the big proprietor of Gitter and whose app that is, right? It starts with a T and it ends with a P. That man, that's his app. And now like Joe Rogan's on it and now you get called a right wing this. And I'm like, oh my, like people don't want to be happy, man. That's the whole point. Keep making sad and depressing music. And this isn't new. This Deltacron shit. Think about it, dude. What happened in like the fucking 70s or whatever when we had nuclear fallout? That was the biggest fucking fear to every single person.
there's
That's
always a fear.
exactly what it was. People knocking on your door. Excuse me, sir, would you like to buy a bomb shelter? You never know when the apocalypse or nuclear war is going to happen. And then people invested in something. We invaded Russia during the JFK thing. They weren't even dealing with nukes until after we went over there looking for them. And then we came over back over here and they're like, well, if you think we're making nukes, I bet you're making nukes. So we're going to make nukes. Then I've been getting down this JFK rabbit hole, which I'm trying to get a bunch of people who research this topic to come on because Oliver Stone was on Joe Rogan talking about it. And they start talking about how uh there might have been a plan and there's all those ideas and there was really never nukes over there and the reason why they killed JFK. It goes down this fucking thing where I'm like, this is like the 9/11 shit. Like
Yeah, JFK was their generation's 9/11, dude. There's
I
theories that the
know,
Cubans did it.
but
Like,
am I a basic bitch because it interests me so much? It's like
no.
every single person who loves watching a true crime show.
So
Like
you want to hear
that's me.
something funny about the JFK thing? So I heard this conspiracy, and it's probably like not. It's probably one of the weakest ones, but I think it's like the funniest one, and it almost sounds like one of the most like realist ones that happened, but it pisses off all of the JFK conspiracy theorists. And okay, so this is what it was that Lee Harvey Oswald was up there to shoot, but he was trying to take out the governor, not the president. And if you remember, he did hit the governor. But
Well,
then there was the magic bullet that
yeah.
bounced around and then somehow hit JFK in the forehead. So the rumor is the shot went off from Oswald, and then so the cars sped off, and that in the front car, one of the Secret Service guys on the side, they were saying that they were out drinking the night before, and he's a little hungover. And when the car took off, he accidentally let off a shot. and that's what killed JFK.
So yeah, I know that one because my grandmom, her ex-boyfriend was the Secret Service person on JFK's route, who's wrote like multiple books about that whole incident and everything like that. And that was one of the biggest cover-ups. Is they talk about that a Secret Service person's gun actually went off and hit JFK in the back of the head. The issue is that when they were doing the autopsy, the scientist that they brought in to do the autopsy was not able to touch the corpse. They told him not to touch that when they would move him around. They noticed bits of his brain that had been soaking in formaldehyde for 2 weeks. Where they start going, is this the actual brain of JFK? This is right after it happened. This hasn't been 2 weeks yet. Maybe that was a stage thing. Then the main military person who they think, or Oliver Stone spent, I think he just made a documentary for the History Channel about it. And he just spent 20 years researching into this type of thing. He just, in his show, in his documentary, he talks about how the main military chief that had conflicts with JFK, when they were at the autopsy room and the examination board, they had it on for everybody to kind of look at it, all the main military people. He was smoking a cigar and looking at the person that JFK, the dead person, that he had a conflict knowingly. Everyone knew that he had a conflict with JFK. They didn't agree on anything that came to Cuba. And he sat there smoking a cigar. They asked him, can you please put your cigar out so we can do this autopsy thing? It's going to mess with our equipment. And he blew smoke right in the technician's face. Now, if you're the military person and you just watch, let's say you're Corey, you're in school. Now, you know, there's a kid that you fucking hate, and every day he just picks on you and you fucking wish he would die. Then you find out he moves or he does die. Now you're like on top of your thing, like, don't have to deal with that anymore. That's exactly the perspective that main military chief. And here's the weird part is
Just
that,
stress off his shoulders.
you know how we all thought like, oh, the stereotypical Catholic priest thing, and then it was fucking real? Why is every
Yeah,
stereotypical like military chief exactly like how we see on all these fucking shows with an old man with a giant cigar? Nuke 'em, bomb 'em, nuke 'em, bomb 'em.
right.
That's how that guy was. And they realized that the whole Cuban thing, there was planned assassinations on Castro, and Castro had tried to openly talk about how you guys are doing all these things. You start realizing that like they had a narrative to play, and the whole reason that JFK might have been elected was an aspect of like
A
they
narrative.
of the nuke narrative. And when JFK didn't want to go over there and deal with that nuke issue, and that's when they were like, hey, this was your whole thing. People aren't going to like you if you're not doing this. Because I mean, people were scared, man. It's like the beginning of this pandemic. You could say anything and people will believe it because they're so fucking scared. And now we're kind of like 5 variants in, and people are like, hey, suck my dick while I do some cocaine off a stripper's asshole. That's where
Right.
everyone's at right now.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's funny you say that too, because even JFK himself said that when they did the Bay of Pigs. I think it was the Bay of Pigs when they tried. The CIA convinced him that like, oh yeah, we got a bunch of Cubans that are on board. There's a rebel over there, ready, or a rebellion ready to happen. We just need to send in these Cuban refugees from America, send them in, go over there. And we're gonna take over Cuba, and it went that way. And then it was devastating. It was a terrible blunder. A bunch of these people died, and it was just this really really shitty attack that we did, and he got huge blowback in the media from it. And he says, like, how could I have been so stupid? So then he stopped trusting the generals and started trusting his brother Robert. And then them both got murked.
Yeah, see, that's just the weirdest thing about you're entering something where you want to help people, but at the same time, you realize that the system is kind of rigged, so you kind of can't, and you don't really have the
Yeah,
option to do
it's
what you want to do.
this bureaucracy of these unelected officials who are there, who don't have term limits, who know the inner workings. Edward Snowden talked about it on Joe Rogan's podcast. He talked about how people always talk about, oh, the deep state, this deep state thing. And he's like, it's not necessarily like Illuminati, these secret people pulling strings. He goes, it's unelected officials that are heads of these institutions and these bureaucracies that have access to the elected officials. And these people are like, wet behind the ears. They're new, they come in, and then these people are just like, listen, trust me, I've been here forever. This is what we got to do. I know this stuff. I'm an expert. Trust me. And so they have no choice to, because they're just surrounded by all these yes men telling them these same type of narratives, so they fall for it. Look at Obama, a junior senator, had no idea about foreign policy. He gets in there, and they ran rampant with him in there. They were bombing weddings, using nuclear or using uranium depleted bullets. You know what I mean? Like, they were just doing all sorts of wild shit, killing Gaddafi, toppling governments, telling governments they can't raise their minimum wage. Like, the foreign policy under Obama was trash. It's been like that for a long time too. He's just a recent example of like shit like that. Look at even Clinton, all the way back to the 70s when we tried to topple Iran,
It
and now we're
doesn't
scratching our heads like, why don't they like us?
it doesn't get me angry because I bet there's a lot of perspectives we're not seeing when it comes to why they're doing so much of this type of stuff. I think like if you're not going to be able to be the fastest at production, like we're not going to be able to match China's production value on anything. We're never going, they own the market in that. But
But that's our own fault.
yeah, but so then you have to play dirty. And when you play dirty, this is kind of what it is. And sadly, dirty doesn't look so good on your sense of character when you're considered the vision of red, white, and blue means bold and
You're
true.
supposed to
And
be the good guy, yeah.
yeah, I see. I think everyone's the good guy and everyone's probably the enemy in another person's eyes. It just depends on what is the most see everything. This is, I don't even, like I said, I'm not getting mad at it. I just really start envisioning a ski lodge in my head where I start going, I would love to just fucking own a ski lodge away from everybody and just have like,
Right?
just fucking sit in my underwear on my fucking balcony while it's snowing outside, while sipping a coffee and smoking a cigar, just watching people enjoy the mountains that I own. Like, oh, he's going up the ski lift.
Oh,
Pizza
look at him.
French fry, pizza French. They're shouting at
Just
him.
yelling, some kid busts ass and his shit goes everywhere. You're just yelling, yard sale.
Yard sale.
Yeah, that would be nice. It's it'd be to just be separate from, yeah, I
It
don't
would
know.
be
This
nice until a
guy's
kid like you fucking rides my slopes and blows out his shoulder, fucking trying to do a jump.
yeah. And then, it's funny because they didn't even like have me sign any paperwork trying to like for a waiver or anything. They just hauled me off the mountain and threw me in my car and sent me on my
That's the
way. I could
dream. People want to be like pop stars and shit. The dream is slipping and falling in like a fucking Walmart and then never having to work for the rest of your fucking life. I did it fucking, what was it? It snowed like 2, 3 weeks ago, like really, really bad. I think everybody got that snow cyclone thing. They always pick weird fucking names for shit. Like when it's a hurricane, it's Hurricane Ida. And I'm like, what the that sounds like a fucking hurricane that beats its family members. And then it's like, well, we have this giant winter cyclone that's coming through that everyone's going to experience. I'm like, winter cyclone, you make that sound dangerous as shit. Is that to jack up the prices in the grocery store? Because everything has went up a fucking dollar, man. I've noticed
yeah.
it and I don't like it because my groceries used to be a set bill. I don't get much. I don't get a lot at all, but I've honestly spent more money since the show has been on break because I've been going out and doing more shit. I mean, I ate out for the first time in fucking 10 years. I had an Outback burger like I said I was going to do. I said it, I did it for a birthday and also 1,000 episode type thing. Honestly, I was in pain more than I enjoyed the experience of it. It was like a decent, like, I mean, it was an okay size, but I ate it in 10 seconds, dude. Legit.
Just smashed it.
I was so ready for it, dude. It'd been so long. I've been building it up in my head.
That's
After,
probably why you didn't feel good. It's
dude,
because you,
no, I haven't had meat the size of a quarter, anything more than that in 10 years. So I ate a whole giant burger. And then the next couple of days, I just felt like complete shit where I was like, am I dying of like COVID? And like, no, it's fucking, yeah, your body's not processing it properly. It honestly wasn't that, it wasn't what I thought it was. I think I just built it up too much in my head.
you should just get some sliders.
But that was 60 fucking dollars for that dinner. And it was like 2 burgers, me and someone else. And then like, I think they got a bloomin' onion and they didn't even eat it. They took a bite. They were like, it's too greasy. And I'm like, for $60, like, no wonder we have people that don't want to hang out with their fucking families anymore. It's too expensive to go do anything. I don't want to sound like a boomer where it's like back in my day, things were a nickel, but I'm like, you start to
Yeah.
notice like my buddies huge into like being afraid of technology and I'm not really there. I kind of see the benefit of it because with everything that you lose there's something that you gain. So if we're losing social connections with our family and that's being a substitute of entering a new digital age where we're reverted to um text messages or we're reverted to Facebook posts, like shares, comments, whatever. That means whatever gets submitted into the technology realm is going to boost whatever you do work wise in the technology realm. So that means if you're a podcaster, if you're this, if you're that, if you're this, but now the other door gets opened up with, let's say, Corey, if you decide to make another political podcast instead of calling it fucking libservative, which is a good name. It's a great name.
I know. I like how you
Um,
backpedaled because you realized you said it like an asshole.
yeah, I didn't mean to.
which I knew you didn't, so I was like, it's fine.
I'm flowing right now, so you gotta let me flow. Um, Instead of calling it libservative, you call it, let's say, the pickle slider. I don't know. You just call it, honestly, libservative is way better than the pickle
The pickle
slider.
slider.
But I'm on the Outback Burger thing right now, so I'm thinking about that. But the pickle slider, then you create that. Now you got to understand is that now that it might be easier for you to get your podcast out there. There's other people thinking they can do the same exact thing and are doing the same exact thing. Where there's all these podcasts that goes up now with the drop off of people returning back to their jobs and not having as much free times. The podcasts have went from 3 million to now 1 million.
Is that what
And
it has done?
1 million and some change. Yeah, there was
Of
about
active.
3 million podcast or 2.5 million podcasts that it started during like when lockdowns first started. And then as people started returning back to work and they started slowly dropping off one by one by one. Because it's moving on to the next thing. I think Twitch streaming will probably go up again. I think that'll probably be the next avenue. I mean, honestly, you could probably get more fame on there or more attention on there because they're just shorter videos, much like how TikTok is, but also, entering different realms and stuff. I'm surprised that when I share my movie clips for things that I'm working on, like I'm working on a second one right now, which is I don't have a deadline on that. It's probably going to take forever because I'm always thinking of a new idea or new bit I can do. That's getting a lot of views from just friends and family who I know don't check out the show. So it's just different to see
It's
what
visual,
people's
yeah.
interests. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we stream and try to do the video and the podcast like you do with your podcast because it's just two avenues of media. And we live stream on Twitch too. We just actually have you
I'm
ever heard of
just on
StreamYard?
I'm just on like I don't do Twitch. I don't I'll watch a friend's video, sure, but like I like the gaming thing. I was like, dude, I've watched so many of these fucking gaming ones where I'm like, this guy's just playing virtual reality and playing a fucking video game and getting like tens of millions of views. And I have to fucking talk to a scientist and try and hold my own fucking ground when they come
Right?
on. Like
Just don't say
it's
anything stupid. Don't say anything stupid.
don't
Don't say
fucking
anything stupid.
fart or any of that.
Yeah, I thought about getting something set up in my room back here actually to do Twitch as well. I thought about streaming on Twitch. I just hop on and play Red Dead. Just run around and just hunt in the woods and talk shit.
I
Go
just hope
lasso someone every once in a while.
if it does enter the digital age, which I know it's ending up going to go there, like eventually it's not going to be ones and zeros in your bank account. You're going to be trading pieces of art. Like, well, I got this painting, I would trade you for that. And it's like I watched, there's an article that came out. A lady worked her way up trading for like 15 years from a bobby pin to now owning her own house. Like she somehow, I was like,
Hmm.
how the fuck do you do that? You go, here's a bobby pin. Can I have your fucking leaf blower? And then you go from the leaf blower to a fucking Lexus, and then from the Lexus to I don't know how that works, but she did it apparently. And
Yeah,
congratulations to her. I'm happy with your new home. I hope you bought a nice welcome carpet for your front fucking doorstep so people realize that they don't have shit going on in their lives if you can trade up from a bobby pin to owning what, a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. I don't know what it is. It could have been an apartment complex. I don't know. She
might have
looked
to try
happy
it.
though. But if art enters that digital kind of like AI createdness, it looks really good, dude. It looks, I mean, I love it. I'm fucking dumbfounded in how awesome it looks. But then I hope it gets to a point where like 10 years from now, shitty art like mine will be like billions of fucking dollars
Well, you gotta do something crazy that cuts your ear off.
and
That's what
give it
makes
to a
your art.
prostitute.
Yeah, like only like it's funny too because when we talk about NFTs and we're just going back to a bartering system with art, you know who used to do that, right? It was Picasso.
Could I put a
He'd go to,
gun to my shoulder and shoot through my shoulder and have the blood splattered create art?
I mean, you could do whatever
Like
you
if my
want, I
face was
guess.
a silhouette right now and I just had like something that squirts blood on that back wall, it would look fucking amazing. Just artistic wise.
We could probably not we could probably do it without real blood unless that's what you want.
No, we got to go full in. You got to pull a fucking Glock out and just fucking one and done.
But then you're
Make
gonna have
sure
to like
some's able to upload it for
you're
you.
gonna have to hairspray it like you do with pastels because so the blood doesn't chip off.
But there used to be like really, it seems like all the creativity went to like fast food or drive through hacks though.
All the creativity went to fast food and drive through what?
Did my voice cut out on that one?
you say hacks?
I felt it. My voice got really dry and then it just fucking stopped talking, like just air came out. That's a drive-through hacks. Like people are like, here's a creative thing you can do. Hey, can you make me a chicken pot pie? And he's at fucking McDonald's and he's like, what? And he goes, we don't even have that on our menu. He goes, it's cool. I brought the ingredients. And the guy goes, we're gonna be famous on TikTok. And he just fucking walks back there and makes it. And I'm like, this is where all the creativity went. We got fucking people that are dying of opioid addiction right now that nobody's talking about. But no, this guy can make a TikTok video that gets billions of views all because he brought the materials to make a chicken pot pie. I mean, is that creativity? I don't know, but it has me questioning a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's because in the psyche of humans, I guess that's 15 seconds of them not having like distracting them from the idea that millions of people are dying from opioid
I didn't
crisis.
realize I had a lot of this in the tank. Like, I'm surprised I have all these rants to get out. I'm fucking. What's been on your plate? This has been my day and my whole life.
Um, I start back up at school this week. I'm in the middle of a dry January. I am not drinking any alcohol for the
So
duration of January.
okay, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking you're like, I'm in the middle of a dry January. I'm like, you're
Like,
fucking married. You're fucking dry for as long as they let you.
yeah, nope, nope. It's not that. Uh, but yeah, I'm not drinking, and it kind of sucks. I miss my bourbon, but when I wake up, I feel pretty good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess so. It depends on how much you're drinking. I cut that out. See, I couldn't. I like when I went to my buddy's house. Like, you drinking on your birthday? I'm like, nah. Probably gonna be in bed by like 5. I mean, I got so high, I went to fucking bed early as shit. Um, but I woke up at midnight, and then I did cardio from midnight on New Year's Day all the way to 5 a.m., which I've been doing, I think, every weekend. Like today, I did 5 hours. Yesterday, I did 5 hours. Um, I just enjoy it. It's just very weird because when you're at the gym that early in the morning, I realize like because it's my work as well too. So I didn't know we had a 24-hour location. I was like, what score? I'm like, I'm gonna go
So you got
fucking
excited.
work out and listen to Juice World and hopefully not drive my car off a fucking cliff. But there's a person that came in and there's the boxing thing and nobody ever uses the boxing stuff. This dude just laces up his fucking gloves at 3 o'clock in the morning and just starts going douche, douche, douche. And I'm like, this is the people that they fucking talk about at my work. This is the person that comes in and just hits the shit out of it, trying to impress whoever.
You.
It's not impressive. I'm benching and I'm like, this isn't impressive to me. It's loud as shit. It's annoying. You're making the thing rock. I can walk over and fucking tap it and it'll fucking move. It's on a chain. It swings like a tire swing.
Right. Maybe he's trying to be the next Mike Tyson. He wants to fight Jake Paul.
And then he starts changing, like getting into his boxers in the middle of the gym floor. I'm like, there's fucking locker room right over there.
You're
But it's
just
three
sitting
o'clock
there.
in the
Just,
morning. So if I complain, I'm the asshole because there's no one else in there. And I'm like, great,
yeah.
wonderful.
You should have went over there and just started punching the other thing next to him.
I should have kicked the punching bag, just kicked it. But they have a trampoline right beside it. Just start jumping up and down on it
Just
very
staring at
furiously.
him.
Just,
Just staring at him.
uh,
Oh man. But yeah, so yeah, school, work. It's the new year. Dude, it's funny actually because so on New Year's I bought a bunch of bottle rockets. You know, we had a party here. We had some people over, and we went out in the street to light off these bottle rockets. And there was these kids 2 doors down. Like my neighbor. Like I know my neighbor. He must have had people over, and they were all like 7 fucking feet tall. I thought they were all adults, and and with deep voices. And I hear one of them say, "Hey, you got any more of those bottle rockets?" So I was like, "Sure." And so I walk over there, and then when I get over there, they're all fucking kids, and I'm sitting here, a little inebriated, with like a bunch of bottle rockets in my hand, surrounded by kids, and I'm like, I can't fucking give these
you're
kids
that
these bottle
guy. You're
rockets.
that
I'm
guy.
like, where's your dad? And like it kept getting away from me, and and I felt like I couldn't just walk away from the situation. So it's like, all right, where's the adult? Where's your dad? And then so this guy comes out and like he was dressed like not wanting to come outside, and I was like, yo, and then all these kids at this point are excited, like ecstatic about bottle rockets, and I was like, hey, I thought there was adults over here. I was giving these to. These are all kids.
How old are they?
I'm sorry, huh?
How old were they?
I mean, they're probably like 11 or 12, but
They
like
were
they were
like
just
7 feet tall.
Dude, not 7 feet, but they were
Well, like
like my
six
height.
foot. Okay.
Yeah, they were like my height. So when I
Well, how
looked
how
over
tall are
him, I
you?
love him. I'm 6 foot.
Okay.
So like I thought they were adults in the dark, it was the middle of the night. And so then he's standing there and he's like, "What's going on?" And all these kids are yelling, "Bottle rockets, yeah, let's light them up." And I was like, and he looked like he wanted no part of it, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." And I just handed him this wad of bottle rockets and walked away. And then,
Um,
like,
it's bad. I mean, there. I was thinking like there's like a 30-year-old and he's in a child's body, or there's some. All right, so this might be a really bad joke. I would hate to say it and then come off like an asshole. It wasn't me that said it. It was my grandpa. So understand that he grew up in a different time period. It's nothing like horrible. It's just like we're watching like we're watching like the New Year type things that they're showing. Like here's all like here's what happened at the NYE. What is it? Miley Cyrus nip slip or a dress attire fail that happened.
oh, was there?
Yeah, her dress came off in the back and she's like holding up like I mean barely anything on as it is, but holding up like covering just her nipples. She comes back wearing a red blazer that's obviously one of like the ballet person's like blazers. And she starts singing her song like back to where she was before, and then she just cuts in and goes, "This is still the most clothes I've ever wore on stage," which was like a great recovery for her in general, just didn't even phase her. She's also like she's hot. She's good looking.
She has a
Um
good voice. You
yes.
ever see the
It has
like when she,
miles on it. Like my voice, I didn't know. I thought my voice, just because I think I hate everything I fucking do. Like I hate every podcast. I enjoy your guys' parts, like the listening to it. I enjoy those. But when I start talking, I'm like, Jesus Christ, skip. But even the movie, I can't watch myself. I haven't seen the film. I've only put it together and then uploaded it. So that took months of process. I haven't actually seen it in full. Um, I just can't stand my own voice as well too. But then I'm doing those scenes and people are commenting, "Could you voice over my book?" And I'm like, I don't. I'll do it for free. I'm not going to get paid to do that. I don't think my voice is that
oh,
good.
with like people are hitting you up like those are real like videos of you wanting to teach them how to be a champion.
Yeah.
And, like, can you voice over my book?
I hope
You
people
have to do
got the
that.
joke in that, the championshipness. Like, come on, that's not a word. I didn't get through. I was like, how to be a douchebag in 5 seconds. Here, let's make a second video.
I'm just a champion, just
Every
eating eggs
day,
on the beach.
I eat a carton of eggs. Like, come on, what the fuck?
I love it. Yeah, it's so over the top.
I'm making fun of all that stuff in the second film. I'm trying to make fun of all like the stereotypical, like, when I had a scene where I'm on a beach and I'm like, "What's up, my fellow virgins?" And I'm like talking to the camera on selfie mode. And I'm like, "Check out this beautiful sunset that the Lord gave us." And then as you look over to the sunset, it says subscribe up top, because every time I watch a fucking video, they always shove a subscribe or something like pay to see more. That's what they do.
You should put the subscribe like in big letters, like right over the sun, like make it
I
obnoxious.
did, yes. And then
Okay.
at the bottom, I put likes. How many likes can Jesus get? How many comments can God get? Like just something stupid like that. That's like,
Yes.
and it's only like 15 seconds. But
Comment amen.
back to the grandpa thing. So the whole New Year's news was all going on, like, oh my God, 2022 is going to be, but everybody was, so I was really high when this happened, but Betty White died. Um,
R.I.P. Betty White.
So yeah, I forgot to tell you off air about that. It wasn't a 5 milligram; it was a 50, and I don't do any of those. I was in
Oh,
another
okay. Yeah, that
dimension,
makes
bro.
that makes way more sense.
I was in another land, and I don't know why it was funny to me, because I just remember her 3 days before saying, and I don't. I'm not a fan of Betty White. I'm not against her. I haven't watched any of her stuff. I don't really know her.
That's like me with Pete Davidson. Yeah.
And I don't like Pete Davidson either.
See, everyone has an opinion about him. I'm just like the
He's got Buscemi eyes.
he does have, but they're the opposite. They're like sunken in, not popped out.
Skeleton. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Skeletor.
Um,
Yeah, no, I'm so indifferent about him.
But she was like, "How did it live to be 100? Just don't eat anything green." And then she dies, and it's just like
She didn't
that's
make it to 100,
yeah.
so she
Like
probably should have ate something green.
I'm not laughing, but at the same time, that's fucking irony in like its own.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a piece of shit. I don't know.
No, there's
But
comedy and everything.
my grandpa, we're watching all the New Year's events. He goes, "Oh, it's just a sad day, sad day." And I'm like, "It's the New Year, man. We can't just celebrate like this. Let's try and lead 2022 into like a good, better year." For instance, my New Year's resolution since the film, I've been smoking cigarettes a lot.
Dude, I shit you not. And like 4 or 5 years ago, I made that because like so one year I said I'm gonna quit cigarettes and I quit mostly, but I was bumming cigarettes off of people and it was like kind of like a sham and I felt like a liar because I was still bumming cigarettes even though I said I quit, but I was smoking all the time still. So I made a New Year's resolution to pick up smoking and then I picked up smoking for a year. Then the following year I said I'm gonna quit smoking and then I did just to piss people off because like it's just one giant troll, just one troll in real life. My New Year's resolution was to pick up smoking.
I didn't make one because you can do it any day. It doesn't need to be resulted to 1 year. Then when you end up
Right.
bailing out on it, you end up being like, oh God, like I knew I couldn't keep, like, why would you make something that you can't keep? Like my gym is gonna be packed for like the next till the end of January. Then it starts dropping off because people don't just stop giving a shit. Like it's just, and I'm like, look, man, do what, if you want to change something, change something. Any day that you want to change something, don't do it because one day is coming or it's going to be a new year and you feel like that's how you're going to start your new habit. It's the biggest kind of insult at people who actually are doing the thing that you want to be doing because you make it seem like the world's not letting you. And I'm like, no, you can get healthy anytime you want. If you want to go join a gym, go join a gym. I think that's maybe why I handled COVID so well.
I hate how like even like the gym industry has inserted itself that like they've become a part of the thing of getting healthy. To where it's like if you can't afford a gym, you could still just go outside and kind of just do what's it called? What's that workout they do with like tires and stuff?
Workout they do with
CrossFit or whatever.
that's with tigers. Is that what you thought?
Tires.
Oh, I think you said tigers. I was like, well,
Oh
I don't
no.
know. A
Yeah, you ever
Siegfried and
work out
Roy
with
act? I
tigers?
don't know. Fucking Vegas.
No, but I was saying like if you needed to get healthy and you couldn't even afford a gym, you could still go out and run. The sidewalks are free, you know, push-ups, sit-ups.
What is that commercial with the like the small people in the chairs? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's been playing all over TV recently.
No, but
You
it
don't know what
sounds
I'm
funny.
talking about?
Like tiny people sitting in really big chairs.
Like mentally, like this, like physically disabled people in
Oh,
wheelchairs.
I thought it was like some CGI trick
Keep
where there
talking.
was like people like us just sitting in really big chairs. Now I feel like an asshole for laughing. Thanks.
Don't worry, I'm gonna make it worse when I find it. There's been an ad all over, like I forgot what freaking news station it is, but it's like little tiny people in chairs.
Oh, I don't watch news stations.
Um, and here it is. Okay, so Sean Stevenson is one of these people. I mean, that sounds wrong. I might have to edit that out. I don't mean any rudeness to it. I mean people
What
that
do you mean these people?
I don't mean it like that. Um, but I'm trying to get to the point of what my grandpa said something where I inaudibly spit all over my fucking self like a horrible human being. Um, it's got an ad. Hang on a second. Hang on. It's like what is it? What is this? Okay, hold on.
Muscular dystrophy?
No, keep talking.
Okay. So it's I is it like when you say like giant chairs, is it like the big chairs they have at uh like theme parks or like stadiums where it's just like a really big chair?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Like, I'm trying to get like you said these tiny people sitting in really big chairs. So when you say really big chair, I'm picturing like the chairs that you see at like theme parks or like like baseball stadiums. So they
They're
have the
normal
obnoxiously
size chairs.
the people are
Um,
just tiny. Okay.
okay, I'll have to show you.
Yeah. Because I'm drawing
God.
all of these
And
wild
this is the
scenarios in
part
my
of the
head.
pod. Great start. Great start. This is it. See, this is what I'm talking about.
That's not a tiny chair.
I didn't
That's a
say
wheelchair.
tiny chair. I says he look. Never mind. But so see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so
So there was a commercial that plays just like the SS. Now I make fun of the SPCA commercial because it just makes you feel like a piece of shit. And it's funny because they always play that right after they play something with like donate to Africa to save a small child. And it's like, how many people are really going to donate to the child? They're going to donate to the fucking animal.
right. Then
Because
Sarah
Sarah
McLachlan comes
McLaughlin,
on.
that fucking asshole that makes you feel like I gotta adopt them
The
all.
eyes
Well,
of
the ad that they do, if I can, I wish I could find it, is just like this one. And yeah, might have to do some filler again, man. I'm gonna have to spend a whole hour and a
You're
half.
spending the whole
I'll
hour
fucking
just looking.
pause it until I find it. We're gonna pause, guys. We'll be right back.
But
We're back. So this is the
And we're
ad.
back.
I know. This is the ad. Took me a little bit to find it. I can't even say the name of the disease because it's just they say OI awareness. It's osteogenesis imperfecta
Osteogenesis.
ad. You know how when people look back at like their previous stuff, like from 3 years ago, like wow, that didn't age well. This isn't going to age well a day later.
Osteogenesis imperfecta is
But they
a
talk
genetic
about it.
Me on a
But they
everyday
have a
basis.
bunch of
I've had to have
people
my spine fused.
explain
like,
the
secondary issues as well.
horrors that
Dealing
they
with a
have
lot
to
more
go
pain
through
relief
that
than
make
many
you
other
feel
people
so
do.
And it
sad.
also
But
affects my hearing.
My arms are quite brittle.
it was like one of these parts where they said something, and my grandpa just goes, "Just get a fucking job," and
Jesus Christ.
it everywhere. I was like, dude. He goes, no, he's like, I get it. It's horrible. People get a bad roll of the dice, but at the same time, they play this thing 15 times every hour. And it's just, I can't fucking stand it anymore. And I'm like, I can't believe I did all that for that. Like, that wasn't a fucking good payout at all.
Like, Jesus Christ, Grandpa. Like, what do you
He's-
want them to do?
The best way I can explain him is that he's not like a person that goes, look at that. No, he's not that. He's just a person that's like, you got to work with what the Lord gave you. And that's everything. Like, that's
So they
his whole-
literally are.
Yeah.
They're doing their best.
They're doing fucking ads, I guess, in his opinion. And I'm like, well, you know, that's terrible that you say that. And he goes, Robbie, he goes, the first time this ad played, I donated money. Second time, no. Third time, no. The 15th time, everyone can fuck off. I'm like, that's fucking terrible, man. They're trying to make awareness to this, but it was just, I don't know
like
what it was.
He's like, I already gave. What do you
I'm an
want from me?
asshole. Why did I bring this up in this podcast? I don't know. Maybe that was a personal thing, but it was just funny because I was not expecting that from him. And
Yeah,
it was
just get a fucking job.
first thing in the morning, fucking random as hell. And it was just like you're watching New Year's stuff. People talking about how the one dude who's with Anderson Cooper gets drunk and does all.
Oh, he was fucking hammered.
Rant. Yeah,
get a fucking job. Leave me alone. It's
But
like
he said
Jehovah's
it with,
Witnesses
like-
coming and knocking on the door every
he
day.
said it like you're fighting a fight that you're just tired of fighting, where he's just like, just get a fucking job. And the way he said it was like, I wasn't expecting it. Just caught me completely off guard.
It's like,
he
what
goes,
do you
"They
want them
play
to
it
do,
like
Pop?
15 times a fucking hour." And I'm like,
It was a cry of desperation.
which I get it. I mean, you're supposed to make awareness. And I honestly, I've said multiple times on the show, don't need to support the show by donating money. If anything, donate to a charity or type of organization that actually helps this type of thing. But something fucking rare, that's a rare thing to donate to. Rare is like not being able to see the color red. Don't fucking donate to every single one that everyone donates. They probably have enough money. Go to the that's what I would do if I was rich. I would just help out these local charities or these types of situations that need these helps. And this is how I recover from being an asshole for the past 20 minutes.
Fight for the cure. Fight for the cure of rabies.
Yeah, that actually just happened to me at fucking work the other day.
You got
last week.
rabies?
No, I didn't get rabies. Some almost got rabies. At night I can't see shit without my glasses.
My God, you have so many these poor medical issues.
And well, I mean, we also don't have lights behind my work, so I'm smoking a cigarette behind, work or something, for a minute. I see this little tiny thing running up to me, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a cat!" And I go, "Here, kitty, 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 kitty." And as it steps into the fucking moonlight, it's a fox. And I'm like, "Oh!" And I just fucking ran into the place. It's like, Jesus Christ, like that's a rabies thing right there, man.
Do you think do you think you picked up the cigarettes from when you were making videos?
Do you think I picked them up?
Yeah, I think you said you were smoking a lot more.
Yeah.
I just need these cigarettes for this video. All right, I gotta just think about what I'm gonna do with this cigarette.
Oh wait, do you mean actually pick up a pack of cigarettes, or did you mean pick up the buds?
Oh no! I mean,
I was just hoping a squirrel was going to run off with it and fucking
use it for some insulation for his nest.
get a little bit of a high or something from it. I don't know.
Nicotine high.
No,
I was saying,
Well, I was doing those scenes, and my buddy's like, "Why is every single scene you smoking a cigarette?" I was like, "Well, when there was just me in it, and there was nothing to do, and I couldn't think of anything, it's a great filler thing. It's just smoking a cigarette. Plus, there's a lot of scenes you can make look serious and badass. Like I have an idea
What's
right now.
cigarette?
Like I'm gonna go to my local cemetery and film. Like do a voiceover, something dark, like can't believe it's been this many times since it's gone. It's never been the same. And then have like an up close like shot coming from the feet all the way up to the front where I'm lighting a cigarette by a
Yep.
gravestone and then get a shot of that way. Because that's a great feel, especially when it's cold outside and you get the nice smoke coming with the also your breath in it as well too. It's fucking freeing. And then also nicotine's good. You smoke a cigarette and under like people are like, did you smoke a cigarette? I was like, it was a Swisher. They're like, you smoked that fast? I was like, yeah, like I was gives you a nicotine high and you fucking walk off. That's what we say.
awesome.
Things don't change though. We say the COVID, the Deltacron thing, and then we talk about the nuclear war, kind of selling of bomb shelters and the whole preparation and fear narrative of the nuclear thing that never happened. Vaping. People that just vape inside their fucking house or vape in like at a fucking while they're playing Monopoly with like other people's family members that just are vaping and blowing smoke. That's not that weird because it's the same thing when everyone used to smoke fucking cigarettes in their house and fucking take their
Yeah.
cigarette and burn it into the couch.
That's how I put all my cigarettes out.
Times are exactly the same as it was 50, 100 years ago. It's just a different format. We're using different technology that have advanced our lives, but it's exactly the same in almost every single way.
Yeah, we're humans. We think we've advanced so far, but in all reality, like when we talk about like we've made these huge advancements in 2,000 years since we started writing things down and stuff, but like the genomes and the DNA code in us is no different than it was 10,000 years ago, really.
The only difference is that somehow we got it flipped around now. Where like 5 years ago, people were like, "Pharma, it's always Big Pharma's fault," and everyone's like, "Big Pharma says do this." I'm like, "What the fuck are we talking about here?" Does anybody remember that they were all about money? Do you think that just changes? It's like nobody just
Yeah.
goes, "I don't care about how much money you have. I'm for the Bible." Nobody fucking does that. Nobody just switches their narrative unless they almost had a near-death experience.
Yeah, Big Pharma is very profit driven. That's the whole money grab behind all this is just insane.
Might as well make a couple of bucks. That means you got to get a booster flap in your fucking shirt to make sure when the next one comes out, you can just easily pull it down without having to pull up your fucking hoodie.
Should we sell that? Should we sell shirts with little Velcro
I don't want to
flaps?
talk about it.
Just-
I don't want to talk about it.
You just like that, You just
Like,
all right.
that's why people wore those pajamas that had the ass flaps. So when they walked outside, dude, imagine that. Imagine that trend comes back. People start building outhouses.
We just have why
We're
would that
so
be a
lucky we have
trend?
indoor plumbing. Like I remember
Yeah.
Norm Macdonald when I was watching the clip from one of his old things. He was talking about how they had an outhouse and there was no indoor plumbing, so you had to go freeze your ass off outside at that fucking outhouse. And his dad made him empty it out. You had to take the pail out of the bottom, and a friend and you had to grab it and walk like a couple miles down the road to fucking dump it in case bears are attracted to the smell of your shit. And I'm just like, that's such a different world than anybody
Yeah.
growing up now. It's like people
You
don't
think
know what
that's
it's
when
like.
maybe indoor plumbing is when humans became pompous, thinking we were the shit?
Or 15 years ago when Facebook wasn't fucking funny memes or depressing memes or people talking about their political views, when it was just fucking Farmville and everyone was insane. Remember how many requests I used to get from fucking Farmville? This person needs your help to clear out their chicken coop. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Right? I'll
Find
do
another
it.
friend.
Find another friend. I'm not cleaning out your chicken coop. Oh man, yeah, I remember Farmville. That's what it was all about. Farmville and making tweets or making posts like, "Can't wait till tonight." And then
Right?
that's it. Just
They were
vague,
like
vague
Twitter
posts. Yeah,
see the cool
boy,
part
that
about
lunch was good
yeah.
at Chili's with Steve.
The cool part was about doing the show daily for so long was that every day on Facebook is a memory from when I was posting an episode, which is interesting to see. It shows like your work in real time. You're like, damn, that's cool. So this is gonna hit me like, oh, 1 year ago today, oh, 2 years ago today. Then I'm coming across posts when I was first on Facebook, or like 10, 15 years ago. And I was like, going skating tonight, who's down? And I'm like,
Yep.
what a tool.
Right.
What a tool.
What's going on tonight? Call/text.
I was just so happy I was born I guess I hit the technology thing after MySpace was gone. So I never had to worry about that. But remember everybody's emo phase where like emotional now is like you talk to someone, they're like, put on your fucking mask, and they fucking have a seizure in the middle of the road. Back then, it was people with long fucking hair, turned to one side, skinny jeans where 2 of their middle fingers were in their jeans on each hand, but then the other hands were out, or the other fingers were outside, kind of
Because they
free.
couldn't fit all of them because they were so tight.
And they would have a piercing or a gauge in their ear. And
A lot of it before it was skinny jeans was girl pants.
Now just pants come like that normally.
Yeah.
I pulled out a pair of chinos from high school and I put them on. I was like, well, I could still fit into my high school chinos. But like I said, I haven't came back from the high. So I woke up. Here's the thing. So I have a digestive issue. I don't go to the bathroom for weeks. Like, actually, the cool part about like the COVID thing is I've been going to the bathroom daily. Like, it's like
Nice.
great. I'm like, this is awesome. If that means I don't smell anything or taste anything, I'm willing to have this. But I went to the bathroom and then I got high again after going. Guess it was that edible worked its way out. And I was like, oh my
no
God,
shit.
I have to go to fucking work. This is 2 days later, man. And I was like out of my mind. So I was spending 45 minutes
You like
picking out
boot
my
THC.
I was spending 45 minutes working out my fucking dress attire to go to work. And I'm like, should I wear chinos? Well, this would look really good with this light blue hoodie that you can't tell because Corey wanted blue lights behind me. But I was like, maybe I need to wear this and I'll wear these chinos. Then I get all dressed and about to walk out my door. I'm like, I work at a fucking gym. I can just wear fucking shorts. And I fucking walk back upstairs after spending 45 minutes in a heated debate in my head trying to pick out
Deciphering
fucking
your jeans.
That's why I don't like pot. Fuck it. It's illegal. Fuck all of it.
Make it illegal. What are you, some sort of authoritarian, Dan? I mean, why do I keep calling you Dan? Robbie.
Look like your host.
I guess so.
I call you
I'm usually
Corey.
calling. Yeah, you do. Thanks. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Robbie. I got it right that time.
Thanks for bumming me. I'm mad. Hang on a second. I'm going red team.
I'm going red. Goddamn commie. Oh, you could do all sorts of different colors, huh?
Red, blue, green, purple. Just make sure nobody has a seizure. So I'm not going to put on strobe.
Oh, they can do all sorts of different strobes. That'd
Yeah.
be distracting in a conversation.
$100
Like you're talking about, like,
I had,
what was-
I have a light over my desk thing, but I think my lamp makes my skin look better than that one because that one makes my computer all fuzzy. I guess it's the LEDs don't reflect well with the webcam.
Yeah, I just have bright lights. I have like a rail right here that like kind of hits the backdrop behind me to make it bright, and I try to get rid of the shadow as much, but you could still kind of see it. And then I have a rail of like just bright lights. Kind of makes you look a little washed out though,
This is going to be a crazy return episode.
right? Just
I like it
bullshitting.
though. I'm gonna.
It is.
I think I'm gonna title it your name though. I'm not gonna do any special, unless you like that. Do you like that?
Yeah, I like it. What would we put?
Because I was gonna do like on the Spotify picture, it was gonna be more like how Joe Rogan where he has a picture of his guest, not just my logo thing. And then the YouTube thumbnail will be both of us with like the thing. But I was just gonna do, Corey Walsh, and then I'll type up a little bio that sounds professional, and then a little excerpt of what this episode's about. But I like the
Can you-
number; it seems more professional. Plus, if you do it that way, when people click on the episode, it just looks like you have a lot of new people on every time. So if you do repeat, it's not like a funny title.
Right. You should make it Lord Corey Walsh though, because I
Wow.
do own 2 foot by 2 foot square
How
of
do you
land
know?
in Scotland.
How do you know?
That I own it?
Have you seen it?
I saw a picture of it.
Is there a person with that osteoporosis disease I just pulled up earlier? Is there someone like that on your farm?
I don't know. It's only a 2 foot by 2 foot square plot. I don't know if he could fit on it with the wheelchair.
I'm gonna donate money after this episode to that. I'm gonna put the actual charity in my description just so I don't come off like a complete asshole.
There you go. Oh, also, yeah, my 2 foot by 2 foot plot's like in the middle of some woods, so I don't know if he can access it.
You bury a foot if you ever feel like it.
Yeah, or I could dig deep down and have a 6 foot. They could bury a person. They just have to be standing up.
Why don't we do it that way?
It would save space.
Do you think it's because like when they decompose the bones just shatter, keeps them preserved for as long as possible?
I don't know.
Like why was Sleeping Beauty laying down like that? Why couldn't she just be like standing up?
Because she was sleeping.
But we have frozen statues. Han Solo didn't give a shit.
Well, yeah,
He was
just in his
technically
head, just-
sleeping when he was in carbonite.
Yeah.
All that was
standing up
out
like
was his
this.
fucking knees and his fucking crotch, and then his hands and his face. So anybody could have imagine if they punched him in his fucking like crotch and then they unfreeze him. He's like, oh, God, what the fuck
Jesus
happened
Christ.
to me?
You know, one thing they didn't talk about at all either, too? Like, he had to have had to go to the bathroom, right?
No, he was
As soon as he
frozen.
got out of there. Right, but, I mean, I guess completely...
Unless it's like Austin
completely frozen,
Powers
but-
where they unfreeze him and he starts peeing for like an hour.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that is a joke. Maybe that's where I thought of that. I'm thinking, like, the first thing he has to do is probably shit so bad.
What you just experienced is what I experienced trying to do all these scenes. I was like, I gotta think of something fucking new. And then you start creating shit and you're like, God damn it, that's a fucking South Park episode. It'd be easier if I had money and like actual quality production stuff, but trying to get the idea
A
out.
team of writers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, what were we saying right before that? I don't remember.
Talking about
It's
freezing
lost.
things.
Lost in the ether.
That'll be a next adventure too. If we'll start doing more carbonite type freezing type things.
They might.
We completely went the other direction with that though. It's much like technology. Like before it was about creating AIs, then it went to like cyborg enhancements, and then it's also still doing AIs with those lifelike robots that are coming out now. The more automated machines. I just wonder, what are we going to pick up from the past and try and do better? Because I mean, Elon Musk, for instance, the man's got a rocket that lands now, and then Bezos is taking people up into space constantly, like always taking new trips and stuff like that. That seemed so stupid and idiotic when it was first being talked about. Like, that's not going to happen. We got years before that happens. Dude, they did it pretty fast, and now it's pretty normal. So I wonder what the next normalization thing is going to be.
Like, what's going to be revolutionized next? Because the autonomous of
NFTs.
things, I actually had to do a PowerPoint presentation in one of my college classes about the autonomous of things. And we talked about, like, the advancement of technology. Like, right now, there's this new thing, like farming. Autonomy is, like, taking farming by storm, and it's making food more efficient. We're using, like, water more efficiently. Everything's becoming more cost effective. It's pretty fucking wild. There's this thing called, like, a farm bot. So, you build your little, like, 6 foot by, like, 8 foot bed, or like, like, is it like 4 foot by like 10 foot bed or whatever, of like your little raised ground plot for like farming for your house, let's say. And then you put rails on the side, and then there's like an arm that goes over, and it's a robot, and it just scrolls up and down your little plot and like plants things and waters them and fertilizes them, and it does it all autonomously. You could put your weed in there.
That's kind of what that movie with Tom Hanks that just came out is about, where like it's too hot or too much radiation to step outside because the ozone layer is gone. So then like it's not protecting anything. So you can't stay out. You have to wear a suit or something like that. So all civilization has basically just died. And then he's
Just
like trying to
indoors.
he's trying to like scavenge. He's got a robot that helps him out and does all these types of things. He built this robot to take care of his dog because he's dying of some type of like terminal illness. And it doesn't look like a movie I would want to sit and watch. But it's definitely something I don't mind watching little clips, like Mojo clips of, where they do like the 1 out of 10 you can watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like the best scenes. Just watch the trailer. They put all the best stuff in the trailer anyways.
They do sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, if a movie is shitty, they put all the best stuff in the trailer.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It seems like that because like they show all like the funniest and best parts, and then when you actually watch the movie, like, this movie sucked. I could have watched like all the best parts were what was in the trailer.
I wonder what technology advancements are going to be coming out. Now that you talk about that farming robot thing, I start wondering when that's going to be like the main norm, where there's not going to be farms run by a lot of. I think we're heading towards what we would call a Luddite movement, and I think that's all a product of the wage increasing. With wage increasing and pricing going up, I just see so many people that are more than happy to have a machine do it. And then you hire one person that maintenances all those fucking machines. I mean, the fact that like
Yeah,
they're getting paid $18, $19 an hour at some places that I don't know if they should be getting paid that much. Now, my whole thought on this is only because if you do that, that incentivizes people to just want to work, and it gives more power to the corporations to just fire you, and then you care way more about your job because you're getting paid so much. But then if you pay them too little, people don't care about their fucking jobs. Like the whole idea of job security is gone, and I think that might be a push for just not really working from home, but not being able to find a job unless you're in exclusive things. Like I'm surprised that like you see a lot of successful people or people post their success on obviously Instagram and Facebook. Nobody's going to post the things that they don't have. That just doesn't make sense. But you're starting to see less and less of like all their showing off type thing, or at least I'm seeing less and less of it. And I think it's because it's getting harder and harder, and they're not able to go do all those vacation trips. And like I have a person I graduated with from high school, and they went on a cruise and did all these types of things. And everyone, like, I was like, damn, like I know she's a doctor now, but is she making that much money? Like to where she could just take these trips all the fucking time? Like, god damn, like I need to get my shit going or something. Then everyone's like, you deserve this. So happy you finally got to take this trip. I was like, okay, so that's like a one out of a couple of year type thing, where I just start thinking more and more about like all I want to do is I just want to go out into the middle of the fucking mountains somewhere by this roadside, dude. So I've been having this repetitive fucking dream of this one like cliffside. Actually, I might show you the picture. So I've been dreaming about this like it's a road on a cliff. That's all it is. It's a fucking road on a cliff. And just me sitting there, like just I don't know why there's always a guitar. Anytime there's like something elegant or wisdomatic to do. And I'm
Sounds like you need to learn how to play guitar.
No, everyone in my family plays an instrument. I'm not about it. I sent it to my email. Let me pull it up real quick. But I was like, I kept seeing this clip, and I had this dream, I think for the past month, just every single day is the same little clip. And I was like, what the fuck is that? So what I thought about doing was I was going to paint it and then Google search it, like image search it, and see if anything comes up close to that. So I just spent all last night, like after I got home, just fucking scrolling through my phone, scrolling, looking for like cliffside roads. And I found the one, and then I filter effected to match the one in my dream. And it is like almost 100% just like that, except in my dream there was a railing that was there. This one doesn't have a railing, but I'm about to show it to you. And I just think that's like trippy because I've never seen this place before, and it's some place in China. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like people talk about like, what does the meaning of the dream mean? Does this mean I need to go to
like
China?
maybe you saw it in passing subconsciously.
This is it. But it's like a road on a cliff, and this is what I saw.
That is a cool photo. That's in China?
Yeah. It's like something mountain or something like that.
It also looks like out west.
And then when I clicked on this led me to a bunch of other photos of the same place where people's trucks were falling off of it. I was like, this is way more interesting.
Then you get into a 3-hour YouTube thing of just watching car crashes.
See, I'm more 100% about nature. Like I enjoy that so much. I think it's I'm definitely waiting for summer to come by again, just so I can sit outside and really enjoy it a lot more. And that's kind of what I was talking about in the beginning about just doing it 5 days a week or doing it maybe 3 days a week or something like that instead of every single day. Because every day is just it's not super, super hard, but it's not easy.
And it takes away from being able to do what you want to do.
Yeah, but with the time off, I got to experience a little bit of life shit that I actually really enjoyed. I mean,
it's
if
all
I
about
explained to
balance.
you my just 3 days out of that time off, out of everything I had, just 3 days worth of it, you'd be like, that sounds like fucking 2 years. I'm like, yeah, I did a lot of shit, man. I'm always, if I'm not doing this, I'm doing something else.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's that's what I was saying. Like it's about balance. Maybe even like 1 or 2 days a week of the podcast, and then you can have 1 or 2 days of doing your filming, and then have a mental health day of being able to just go explore and reflect. And that way, you're not, that the tank is getting
7 hours of
refilled. It's
cardio makes the voices go away.
7 hours of cardio makes the voices go away. There you go.
That's how
You do 7 hours of cardio every day?
No, I did 5 hours the past 2 days.
Wow.
Weekends though, I could do it on weekends, and then if I have a day off, but with work and shit like that, it's not a manageable thing to do a bunch in a row, because then you try and get up out of bed and your legs just won't do a single thing. I'm like, I'm officially paralyzed. That sucks.
My legs don't work no more.
You got to have some goals or dreams deep down inside of your stomach or your heart or your brain.
That's what keeps you going.
Me? Yes.
Oh, me. Oh, yeah.
About
no,
me.
like,
I'm deflecting.
I'm no, I want to get I like the creative. I like being like I'm happiest when I'm creating. And that's why I do the podcasting, you know. I get to do a lot of cool little arts and craft stuff with my kid all the time now, coloring and drawing and stuff like that. And once I get my new house, that's the plan too this year, 2022. The Walsh is going to get a casa
Can
instead
you
of
get
living
like
in.
a outside garage with an above apartment or above bedroom above it so I can just move in?
Maybe, yeah. You might. You're still contemplating moving to Michigan?
I need to move somewhere.
Michigan's a
Even though
good
I
place to
just
be.
spent fucking a whole day setting up this new studio, it's like, well,
I mean, yeah, you should. I mean, if I might be biased about my home state, but it's pretty cool here.
I don't
A lot
give
of
a fuck.
manufacturing jobs, a lot of industrial jobs where you can make decent loot, work 50, we had to work like 40, 50 hours a week.
I just want to turn on my microphone and get billions of dollars. Is that
That's the end game,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
That's why we're putting in all the work right now,
Just
building a
enough to where
foundation.
I can walk outside of my house and take a deep breath without fucking seeing some asshole walking their dog that doesn't pick up their dog shit.
That happens still. It happens here too,
It's fucking annoying.
right? Just pick up the shit.
I just don't want to be
What-
around anybody.
There you go. Well, where I live, there's like I'm in an area where there's like what is it, like 4 million people or something like that. But it's spaced out. You know, it's pretty wide. But it's Metro Detroit.
I wanted to go back to what you were talking about, those kids with the bottle rockets, and they were like older. So I work at a gym and I see that a lot. Like there are some kids that go, "You look like a child," and then it's like you see some kids that are like, "I'm 15 years old," and you're like staring up at them like 7'2" and like jacked. I mean, fucking like Chris Hemsworth size, and you're just like, how the fuck is this? Like there's some generations that are like that, and there's other generations that are like stunted growth, and I'm trying to wonder where I fall in. Like, dude,
Right in the middle. I
Yeah.
feel like me and you both are just average faces in the crowd. Like the world is like, how tall are you?
5'8".
Yeah, see, the world is built for people like me and you. Like right around between like 5'8", 6'1".
Well, that's like the average height. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that
I know,
it
that's what I'm
wasn't
saying.
always like that, though. It's much like koi fish. Like koi fish, the bigger the pond, the bigger they grow. They grow to the size of the thing. But I start going, is that the same thing with the world? The more space that you have, the bigger you get. I have no clue because I have friends that are like 7'6",
And they're
7
from the
foot,
country.
and they're fucking huge, and they're farming type people where I start wondering, it's like, is it something that we're eating? Is it the lifestyles that we're living? Is it my constant hours of cardio that are slowly shortening me?
Just all that compact on your
Yeah.
spine. Just
Fucking a couple slip discs, maybe knock you down a peg or two.
right. But then maybe you grew an inch when you said your back popped that one time.
I've been getting growing pains in my fucking knees, like hard. And it's not from running, dude. It was like I just feel them like stretching out. I was like, I messaged my dad. I was like, yeah, when did you hit your growth spurt? He's like, when I was 26. And I was like, you went from 5'8" to 6'2" when you were 26. I'm like, 2 more fucking years.
Jesus, yeah, you're about to grow, about to be a monster.
They say 26 is when I get gray hair too. And I'm like, fuck, I get hit twice.
You grow and then you get gray hair. So I'm 32 and I found a couple gray hairs. I guess it happens.
Does
I haven't
time
seen any
feel
more
like
or
it's
any less.
moving differently to you? Time just
Like
feels
since
like
when?
I know I'm only 24, so I can't complain about like, well, time's moving so quick. Next thing I know, blink can be an old man. But I really honestly feel like that sometimes. Like I start wondering, like, fucking holy
Yeah.
shit, like what is that?
Oh, okay, so you're saying, yeah.
Measuring? Yeah.
Dude, yeah, my kid's 2 already. It's unbelievable to me. It's insane. I can't believe a year has already gone by. Like you see like a picture pop up and it's like, what? I feel like I just did that. Or what was it? Like in my back room here, I put like so those bottle rockets and stuff I bought the year before. And like I just set them down on a table off to the side over here. And then they just sat there and a whole year went by and I knew where they were and I'm like, I feel like I just fucking set these down right here.
Well, it's not like it's moving differently. It's just the way that we're perceiving it is different.
Yeah, it just seems to be going faster and faster. I think it's because the length of time, like as we experience more, like when you're around for 25 years, a year is such a shorter span in relation to that 25 years versus when you're younger, a year comparing it to only a lot less years seems like
Well,
lasted longer.
the
I don't
average
know.
lifespan is of 79 years. The amount of hours that are in are 697,400 and something hours.
Did
And
you just
then
do
like
that math in your head?
no, I had it.
I know. I'm just kidding.
It was for a scene in the film because I say something like I am 24 and that's 28,500 something hours lived. And it's like you start counting back. It's like you can remember certain key moments, but there's a lot of pieces that you're missing out of it. And it's interesting because I've always said the one thing now, one sense if I had to lose or had to keep one and lose like another one or something, I would never want to lose my sense of touch because with ADHD, the one thing I do to keep myself grounded is I can rub my fingertips together and
See,
feel
as
that.
I'm over here doing this.
Yeah. So the one thing that I have is like right now with not being able to smell anything or taste anything, that fucking sense of touch is just amplified where I'm like fucking feeling all that shit. But the weird part is just like, I don't know, like going out into the cold, I'm not really getting as cold as I was before. Like I was walking out in shorts in like 20-degree weather and doing that type of stuff. I'm like, usually I can feel the cold, but I don't feel anything. It's like I feel like cut off to the world. And I don't know if it's because I haven't come back from that trip yet.
Yeah, maybe. Or less. I mean, I feel like also though, like when it comes to the cold, like we were having like 0-degree days here just the past couple of days ago, and then last night I was down in the city, and I had to. It was so shitty. So I went to this place called Texas de Brazil. Have you ever heard of that place?
Oh, sounds like a nice, I guess, Olive Garden.
I mean, it was a nice experience. The place was way more expensive than I wanted to spend. You know, it was this just expensive, but it was down in the city. It was with a big group of friends I haven't seen in a while. So I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll go. But I had to park like about a mile away from the place, you know, and it was like 30-degree weather and it was still cold, but it wasn't terrible. And I was like, ah, this is fine. You know, I rented one of those little scooters, put it through to downtown Detroit over to the restaurant. But then afterwards, and that was like 35 degrees, and then we were in the restaurant, and then it got significantly colder, and it rained and drizzled, and there was ice, and then so I couldn't ride a scooter back to my car because all the sidewalks were ice, so I had to like do this little hobble back, and I was freezing my ass off, and I did bust ass once, but then this morning I went outside, and it was only like 10 degrees difference, but it just felt warmer.
When the day that it snowed, the next day I went to the gym at like 4 a.m. and trying to like they'll shovel the main drive and it wasn't that much snow. Like I'm surprised they got off school for it. Like it wasn't like when I was a kid, it had to be like a fucking mountain. And then there was no school, but this was like as soon as it started, they're like, nope, we're not doing school.
Yeah, it's COVID.
But the giant highways are pretty clear. There might be some ice and stuff like that. But that's what the weird part about it was. It wasn't just snow, it was ice. Like it was straight ice. Like you used to hear like people go, well, that was because it's ice. Be careful of ice. It's like, no, this was legit. Like you walk outside, you're fucking and I got some amazing shots on my phone from because I was doing, like I said, I'm doing another film. Had to do that in there. Sorry, won't mention it again.
No, you're fine.
I've said it a lot.
It's your other project. Why wouldn't you?
I was self-promotion is a horrible demon. But they don't shovel my neighborhood. Like the whole Ocean Pines is like a small community type thing. And Ocean Pines when I was a kid used to be a place for like all older people. It was all old retired people. They have golf courses and shit. Now, as I'm older, like in the past, like 20 something years I've lived in this area, it has gone from old, just nothing but old people. They used to like stand their fucking ground. I remember when my family, like my mom and me and my brother, we all moved to one house here. It was on like a golf course style thing. An old lady, she had sensors on her lawn. If you ever stepped on her grass, always looking to complain. Those types of people. That used to be this whole entire community. Now it's nothing but like single moms who are like collecting child support and fucking they're never home and their kids all by themselves heating up hot pockets in a cracked microwave like I did. Like it's all shit like that now. It's all kind of like lower, like I would say wealth class type thing. That's
Like,
this whole
did this
thing.
little shift.
Yeah.
All the old people kind of died.
So, well, they're still here. There's very select few that just stand their fucking ground like you're encroaching on their territory. Like, dude, I'm trying to go to work, man. Oh, yeah. But I'm trying to drive out of the Pines, and it's called Ocean Pines at like 4 o'clock in the morning. They shoveled all the snow into the middle of their fucking street, man. Like my car is
old
a
people did?
Camry. No, they shoveled when they were doing the giant snow plows were coming through. They didn't even get all the roads. They just fucking fuck it and let you drive through it all. I'm in a Camry
Good luck.
and I'm hitting. They're not like snow things like you see in a parking lot. That's full ice. So it was like when I was driving, I was hitting them and I felt my car like koosh, koosh. I'm like, my tire's going to fucking fall off. And then my first thought was,
Jesus.
this is exactly what the people in the Titanic must have felt like when they hit that fucking
Hit the iceberg.
Because I see this giant fucking ice thing in the middle of the road. Like someone didn't full on plow out the street so you can take a left. You have to go where they plowed is the same way someone would enter. So you better pray to God nobody's coming or your car can stop. And when it's ice, it's hard to stop. And I'm like, oh my God. And I see this giant iceberg thing coming. I'm just driving at it. I'm like, so I just bite my hoodie and fucking drive into it like you're gonna run through a fucking wall. And I just heard it scrape. And then my car has a as I've been driving like 25 minutes away to go to the gym, I feel like the tire is like definitely gonna fall off while I'm driving. And I'm like, just let it happen. Just don't. No warning.
This is
please.
my life.
Just fucking do it. Get it over with.
It's like I could be proactive and check the lug nuts, but no.
The
Ain't
whole
gonna
rim
do
is cracked. It's been cracked for like the
Jesus.
past year and a half. So I'm like, I don't know how the car's still going. I got new tires and stuff on it, but the rim's still fucking cracked. I don't know what it is. But if it's my time, it's my time. Can't live forever, Johnny. What is it? Strike hard, strike fast.
Yeah, did you start watching the new season?
I've seen it all.
Oh, you have? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
like
I watched it
maybe
all
two
yesterday.
episodes in. Okay, I'm like 2 episodes into the new season. That
They
show's
keep
so
bringing
great.
in random kids that I don't know, like just to fill a scene. It's like when I used the cigarette to fill a scene. They're like, oh, we decided to clear it out. Gosh, damn it. I'm not saying the rest of that because it'll spoil it for you. But there's just random scenes where I'm seeing kids that have no names. They're just there to fill up a spot, like background, like
Yeah.
who's that one person that's always background cameo? He was in Spider-Man. He got to kiss that supermodel in that Super Bowl commercial that was really uncomfortable for everyone.
I don't know.
He's a chubby redhead kid.
That's in that movie?
Has like a really red
Or
face.
that's in Cobra Kai. I think I know what you're
No,
talking
he's
about.
just
Yeah.
an extra in films, and he got to kiss
Oh.
that really hot supermodel.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't see that.
Well, I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up. It's gonna be uncomfortable for fucking everybody.
Roll that B-roll footage. But yeah, like that, it's so funny. That show cracks me up because like they make fun of like the 80s in the show. They're making fun of their own movies, but like they're making this great show about it. And like the one part, me and my wife are cracking up. So I'm at the point where John Kreese went and got his boy something Silver, Tony Silver or something like that. And then Tony Silver guy's talking about like the times in the past. He's like, yeah, dude, like I was all fucked up. He's like, I was doing so much blow, I was tormenting a teenage kid for months. He goes, it sounds insane just saying it. And they're showing the footage from the movie, and it's like, holy shit, I remember that. And he did look so fucking crazy.
This is the
GoDaddy Super Bowl commercial brings the lip action.
just watch that. It's so
That's really awkward.
uncomfortable to fucking watch. And this guy's been extras in like fucking Spider-Man.
And the smart
all
side
that
that
shit.
creates a
It's a
killer
GoDaddy
website for your small
commercial. What
business,
the fuck does this have to do with
represented by
GoDaddy?
Walter. Together, they're perfect.
Danica Patrick, she's hot.
The
It
noise.
was
Why
so
are they making the noise?
uncomfortable.
Dude, that kid probably popped a giant boner.
Yeah, I bet he probably splooged in his fucking pants. She's
Probably.
he's a super
Yeah.
well, but that was the most uncomfortable. But that kid, they have random kids like that in Cobra Kai doing shit. And I'm like, they never even gave this kid a fucking name. They're like, we just need more children to fill these spots.
Right.
Make
Yeah,
the
there's,
dojo
like-
look full. Like what the
Right,
fuck?
yeah, like 3 or 4 like people who actually have storylines and story arcs. The rest of them are just in the background, just yeah.
I was just like, who the fuck's this person? Like, I need to bond with these characters.
They just
and
need them for
everyone's
the rumbles.
and you could tell that they got COVID weight. Like they gained weight from like their previous season.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Diego looked filled out.
I thought it was Miguel.
Or Miguel. Yeah, sorry.
You fucking racist piece of shit.
I knew it was a Hispanic name. That's all I knew.
Thing is, what? Yeah, it's Miguel.
Yeah, it's Miguel.
But only person that looks the same is Hawk.
Yeah, he looks exactly
Robbie
the
looks
same.
like he fucking every time I can't watch the show for that specific thing is when I start watching it, they go Robbie. I'm like, God damn it, who's calling him? And he spells it with a Y, like a piece of shit.
Like a real douchebag. Yeah,
Um,
I've been playing Forza, and I put my name in, Corey, and it's so funny because my kid's name is Corey too. So when I'm playing, and every time I go to do a little scene, it goes, "Hi, Corey," and little CJ, he jumps up, and you see him look around like someone's talking to him, and I was like, oh, I probably should have just made the name like D-Bag or something, because he does, but he loves that game actually. He fucking loves watching
build your
Forza
own
because of the
car and do
cars.
shit. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, well, he doesn't play, but he just loves watching the cars drive around and crash. So, wow,
Why everybody
crash.
loves NASCAR.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
waiting
That's
for
why
that
everyone
fucking
loves
crash.
NASCAR.
It would be interesting to watch NASCAR if they had other cars go like a smaller circuit or smaller lap inside of the actual lap thing. So like there's two stadiums
Races going at once,
so one's going one way and the other one's going the other way.
and then
so
have
you
them intersect.
No,
Like
you don't do that. No, they'll crash. They'll fucking die.
Like they do with the like those figure eight tracks. You ever seen those?
But I mean, just they go left all the time. It's like I want to see them. Why? Who decided to go left? Why not right?
I don't know.
It's got to be
I couldn't
something
tell you.
with like the way that our minds work or something like that. Or like
I like
going.
the dirt track circuits personally better. I like when they bang into each other a little bit more. Get
I
a little
like
bit more aggressive.
the driving that they do when they have a passenger that reads directions to them.
Like in the Baja,
Yeah,
the
like
Baja races.
you
Those
got to
are fun to
turn
watch.
left up in 200 feet, and the guy's just driving so fast. He's got that tunnel vision where he's just not paying attention. He's like, "You got to apply the brake," and the dude doesn't apply the brake, and they fly off the fucking track. And he goes, "What the fuck, man? All I said was apply the brake." He
They're
goes, "Sorry, man.
yelling at each other.
I know you have to let go of the steering wheel when you crash, because what happens is that thing's not locked in. So when you hit, the thing starts spinning really uncontrollably fast in a direction, and if you're holding on to it, it'll break your wrists.
Oh, when you're in a fast car.
Yeah, because I think the couple times I went to NASCAR, I got skybox things, and before you say, "Oh, Mister Big Bucks," no, my dad's had like a lot of connections with business owners and things like that because he was DJ and then played like Kiss gigs and stuff like that. The guy who owned that whole entire track gave us skybox tickets, and also he was a big NASCAR fan, so he would watch the games with us in his skybox, and he would explain all these small little things and then be like, "Want to go meet the racers?" And I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "Tony Stewart." I'm like, "Fuck that guy." And my dad's like, "He's my favorite." And then Danica Patrick came to the game, and that was his whole thing.
That's pretty cool. I got to ride in a NASCAR car once. My dad had it in there before you say big bucks. My dad had a connection through his job, through one of the NASCAR drivers in the Truck Series, and it was at the Milan Dragway, and we got to go out there and we got to just hop in like they put a passenger seat in the NASCAR truck, and we got to sit in there and fly around the truck a couple times really fast.
It would be cooler if you got to fly in one of those spaceships instead of, my dad worked at NASCAR. My dad
My
worked
dad
for
didn't work at
NASA.
NASCAR.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, obviously, it'd be way cooler to ride in a spaceship, Dan. I didn't have that option.
I'm not
I'm
Dan.
7. I know. I'm sorry, Robbie. I'm
You
not.
just said it
I'm
again.
frustrating you. I've only been podcasting with Dan, so it's like
The best feeling in the world is when I listen to an episode or when I'm in an episode and someone calls me by my name. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm a human person."
I know you told me that before, and I'm making you feel like a piece of shit. I apologize.
Um,
I'm sorry, Robbie.
I was listening to an interview with Carrot Top, and he was talking about how his dad was a NASA engineer, and his dad would let him take him to like the shuttle and be able to walk in the rocket ship and do all these types of things. And it was just interesting to get that perspective of things, because you start to realize it's like it doesn't really necessarily even matter what your parents do. You can somehow become something different. Like, who would have thought that a NASA engineer's kid would,
Would be a prop comic
yeah, like Carrot
on
Top.
steroids,
And even-
on steroids and
ended-
a ton of plastic surgery.
He ended up stopped doing weightlifting and stuff because he said it was taken away from his comedy. So he's down to like 145 now. But he talked about it. He goes, "It was actually a good workaround." He goes, "Because my dad made a lot of my equipment gear that I used on stage. Like if he needed a lever or some type of thing that he could hit, his dad would make it for him so it would connect with the lights to make his show a little bit funnier. Like they had a snow plow thing that he would use on stage and stuff like that, where he goes some type of bit about eating a Klondike bar and the snow plower goes off and blows snow all over the stage.
That's interesting.
Just gotta
What a
find
weird character.
You gotta find what works for you.
Yeah, there's a letter. It was a letter like someone by Hunter S. Thompson, a friend of him, asked him for advice. And in the letter, like he starts off, he's like, "It's so egotistical to think my life is put together to give someone else advice, but I'll do my best." And he talks about like making like it fit for you. Let me see if I can say this without butchering it. He says instead of making yourself miserable trying to chase uh this unattainable goal of what you think your life should be, think about what makes you happy and then build your life around that. Does that make sense?
Um, I think probably the more realistic thing that you can possibly do is people want to go for the idea of fame. People want to go for this type of thing. You might get that by just doing what makes you happy. I think it probably comes with the less effort that you put into it. And that doesn't mean trying hard. That just means trying not to be something that necessarily you see the end result for. People become musicians because they love fucking music, and they become successful because they enjoy music. Red Hot Chili Peppers is a great example. Rappers, actors, all these people care about what they're creating, not necessarily just looking for what comes with that. They want to actually do this. Like if I could do radio, if I could do something like this, I would fucking love that, because I'm probably more designed to do that than working a 9 to 5. Necessarily, I'm waiting for when that is going to be. I don't know. But I think you have to really go after what you want. And I know that's easier said than done. But if you're trying to model off of, I'm going to be the next Twitch streamer, make sure those aren't just fancy things that are dangled in front of your face, all because you think that it's cool because you see and you enjoy watching that. Like to be like we were talking about in the beginning, virtual reality, making videos for that and getting a bunch of views. But do we enjoy doing those types of things? Or is that just a fun little hobby that kills some time that we've enjoyed so much? You know, like me trying to play Xbox. I don't want to stream Xbox. I used to be so into it. Now I can't even sit and play a game for more than 5 minutes before
Wait, do you have an Xbox?
yeah. Just
Well,
never
why don't we
use
play
it.
together? Oh,
'Cause
we should play together.
I don't have a mic. I never play. I played Minecraft for an hour yesterday, and I
I've
was
been
just
balls deep in the new Halo.
Infinite.
Yeah, because it's
Mm.
like the old school Halo in the online. It's not all like the other ones that got dumb. Like it's
I'll play Dead
phenomenal.
Rising 4 if they bring that on there, but mostly it's
Yeah.
just Viva Pinata. It's simple shit.
Okay, I found that thing Hunter S. Thompson said, and he says it way better than I was trying to say. And he goes, so it's in this like
Couldn't have
letter,
been any worse.
right? And it's in this letter that he writes to a friend, and like this little excerpt is like, in short, he has not dedicated his life to reach. Wait, he's talking about abilities and desires. Let me see. As I see, then, the formula runs something like this. A man must choose a path which will let his abilities function at maximum efficiency toward the gratification of his desires. In doing this, he is fulfilling a need, giving himself identity by functioning in a set pattern toward a set goal. He avoids frustrating his potential, like choosing a path which puts no limits on his self-development, and he avoids the terror of seeing his goal or wilt or lose its charm as he draws closer to it. Rather than bending himself to meet the demands of that which he seeks, he has bent his goal to conform to his own abilities and desires. In short, he has not dedicated his life to reaching a predefined goal, but he has rather chosen a way of life he knows he will enjoy. The goal is absolutely secondary. It is the functioning toward the goal which is important, and it seems almost ridiculous to say that a man must function in a pattern of his own choosing. For to let another man define your own goal is to give up one of the most meaningful aspects of life, the definitive act which makes a man an individual.
It's a good quote.
Yeah, Hunter S. Thompson was really fucking smart, and all everyone knows him for is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I'd be so pissed. Like he has so much like brilliant writing,
Well,
and
he
everyone
had
just
one of
knows him
the
as the druggies.
he had one of the talents of being able to channel your pain into some type of art that is actually truly appreciated. Like there's a, I think, like I said, I don't want to keep reverting back to the film, but if you watch the original film with all the humor that comes with it and a lot of the serious tones, I liked going back and forth. I guess what I'm trying to do in the second one is do serious and funny. But there's a review that I got from a podcast, Smoke and Mirror, shout out to them. Uh, Rob commented and say it's kind of like Lynchian in nature, but he talks about how like I know a lot of it can come off very jokingly and silly, but it's very, very serious and kind of captured what Robbie probably went through during the pandemic.
Yeah, just the like staring through the blinds, the fan ceiling,
With
just
shaving cream
going.
on my face. Um, it's a lot of that type of like insanity that was going. I mean, and a lot of the scenes it made it look like I was dead at some points, especially with the morgue scenario that was happening when my buddy was pulling the casket out of the thing. And it's kind of like I was trying to capture more of a gravity. I was trying to pull it into serious and then also make you laugh as well too by switching over to comedy or hitting you with something right out of the blank. I would say.
Yeah. And it wasn't like subtle. Like it was nice how it was there. So like when I was watching it, that's why I messaged you. I was like, you're a genius. It's like you're fucking
I'm
Andy Warhol.
I'm not a genius, but there's a fine line between making a film so funny that it's not taken serious, and there's also a line of making a film so serious where someone ends up calling a doctor or therapist because you might need mental
Texting you,
help.
hey man, you okay?
So like it was weird when I put up that scene with the milk thing, which is going in the second one. I had people, or not the milk one. Was it the fire alarm one? Did you see the fire alarm one?
Yeah, when I was going crazy, I saw some of the comments. Yeah, and they're like,
People were commenting like, "Don't fucking kill yourself." I'm like, "What?" And I was like, because I was cracking a joke of like, you hear a beeping noise. It's like, oh, it's your fire alarm. And then people were like, "Oh, you got to change your fire alarm batteries." I was like, just watch the full fucking video. And at the ending, it was tinnitus
yeah.
because there's a
And then people were
ringing.
commenting saying, "Oh, tinnitus sucks."
Like, there's no
I don't
cure
have it.
for it, so you don't fucking beat it. It lasts forever.
Right. I'm glad I don't have tinnitus.
So people comment on shit. It's like, do you read the full fucking thing? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? But I don't know.
They comment on stuff just based on the headline.
It's weird watching my friend number drop. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing that's causing it to drop? Like, it went from like 817 to I'm like at 810 over the past couple of months.
Everyone's like, "Fuck this guy."
I don't know what I'm not. I'm literally just putting up pictures and movie scenes, one a day.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah,
you
no, those
prefer
pictures
I
are
was
pretty
never
cool.
on it?
Oh, what, on Facebook?
On anything. I feel like that's what
And they just
people
want to
get.
be your friend, but not want to see you.
It's fucking stupid.
People are wild, man.
And dress up in a Mortal Kombat outfit and just start fucking dancing in the street and fighting people.
Dude, we're gonna start doing videos where we're gonna dress up in colonial outfits
Good.
and
God.
just go to like downtown areas and ask people questions like,
Do you want to get
"How
shot?
do you feel about the current state of political affairs?"
That's not a good way to be healthy in the 2022.
So that's not a good way.
It's not a good
Walking
way.
around in
People hate
colonial
any.
outfits.
If you say the word colonial, I'm surprised that you still use Captain Crunch on cereal
Because he's a captain, man.
because he looks like that fucking Colonel Mustard or whoever the fuck it is. Like they just want to fucking. It's like when Rick Moranis got punched in the face. Just people were throwing hooks. They didn't give a fuck who they hit. They're like, fuck it, find somebody and punch them in the face. That's all it is.
Yeah. People are so angry. I don't even know what to say about it.
You're itching your vaccine spot. Is everything okay?
I still actually have not been vaccinated.
I thought you said you got it already.
I said I was planning on it, and then it's like I'm trying to think of a good example when it's one of those things that it's like on your list of things to do, like you just haven't done it, like organizing your spare closet.
Does the spare
It's like-
closet raise above the getting the shot?
I haven't done either. So actually, I did organize one of my closets recently,
not-
but yeah, it's like
You're not vaccinated until you get both shots, a booster, and then another booster. Who is
Yeah.
it? Is it Israel that's on their fourth one?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I just had it, so like I have natural immunity, and it's
You
crazy.
could
It's
still
wild.
get it again, a different one.
Yeah, I can.
It's just
But now I've had
I
two
don't know. We're not
strains.
talking about it. We're not talking about it. We're not talking
We're
about
not
this.
talking about it.
YouTube's gonna cut her down, and I don't feel like ruining the start of my new fucking
Right.
Next
Like,
thousand.
oh, you're back, huh? With your
Let that
This
demon die
bullshit.
in a hole. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up the show? We've been going for about 2 hours.
Yeah. It's nice actually. We didn't talk about any politics really, did we?
Yeah, we did pretty good. Usually we're like
We
deep
did.
into it already, screaming
Yeah.
about something.
It's Sunday morning coming down. I was not thinking about politics at all.
Because it feels like Sunday morning.
Yep.
How do I
was
tell
actually
you to be
thinking of-
ready at 11 and you're like, I'm making coffee at 11? I'm like, what the fuck? Like you had a day and a half to prepare. And then you join in.
Because like I was in here and I got it ready and I'm like, oh fuck, I want some coffee. So luckily I have the K cup thing. It was quick. I was on at like what 11:06.
11:06.
I'm sorry that I was 6 minutes late.
7
Oh,
minutes.
that's Maryland time.
Merlin.
This is Michigan time.
Michigan time. Oh.
Yeah. So
7 minutes behind.
right. If you're into politics at all, come on over and listen to Libservative Pod. We're on all your social media platforms and all your podcast platforms. We call the balls and strikes on all the bullshit and monotony that you hear in the media bias. What do we have? We said we're trying to make thinking sexy again because it's difficult to think when you let the corporatists do it for you.
Good quote.
It's one of our little taglines. Yeah. So that's what we do over there. Just bullshit and call them all out. Call out the balls and strikes. Even though now we're actually adding some positivity to it. We're trying to do one positive story a week because it's really us just bitching about how terrible everything is and how we should fix it.
Well, you know the drill. I'll link it in the description. And thanks again for joining me on the podcast.
No problem, Robbie.
It's been a pleasure.